welcome to episode number 222 of eBay the Right Way. Today's date is June 18th, 2025, and my guest is Becky in Florida. Announcements. Just a reminder about my BOLO books being converted to ebooks. The link to the instant download is below the podcast. I am diligently working on the third and fourth editions, so those are coming soon. And you can still grab printed copies from my eBay store, but once those are gone, they won't be replenished. So if you are a hard copy book person, now is the time to complete your collection. And yes, a fifth edition is in the plan. I have already started gathering information for that one. As a spreadsheet nerd and your personal researcher, I keep track of everything. And I don't know if that's good or bad. Okay, let's talk with Becky.
Welcome back, resellers. I have Becky with us in this episode. And tell us where you're located.
I'm in Pensacola, Florida.
Oh, okay. So you see lots of military aircraft where you are.
We do. We're the home of the Blue Angels. So,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay. Have you
Yeah.
been in that area very long?
Yes, actually, my parents were both in the Navy, and they were raised in the North, and they met down here at a Navy base. So I was born in the Pensacola Naval Hospital.
Really?
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Navy baby. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't we start off with how long you've been selling on eBay and what brought you there?
Sure. My husband and I opened a joint account actually in 2009. So I've been kind of playing around with this for quite a while. We had needed some extra cash and we're just kind of looking around the house for things to sell. And my husband came up with his compound bow, which was quite a big thing, an item to start with, but it was like, hey, there's some extra cash. My son had just been born in the hospital, and we had some of those bills. So we're like, sure, let's try it. And we sold that, of course, within about a week. I think it was mostly just auctions back then. And we ended up getting $400 for it.
Nice.
So surprisingly, that's still my biggest sale to date from one item. So still waiting for that big one to come up. But
So that was like a hunting bow?
it was, yeah, it was a Browning compound bow. And I think we had arrows with it. Don't believe we had the hard case that sometimes they come with. But you'll never guess where it went. You have any guesses?
I don't know, somewhere out west, Montana, Wyoming.
No, it went to Russia.
Really?
So we were kind of really in shock. And that was back in the days when we had to do all the custom forms and all that
Right.
stuff. So we went to the post office, filled all that stuff out, and we're like, oh, how are we going to ship this thing? So I think we ended up using a TV box to ship it.
Mhm.
And it got to him. I think it was maybe 3 weeks until he got it, and he sent back really good feedback and was very happy with it. So that was our first experience.
Oh, that was a big item to be your first experience.
Yes, it was. It was.
No fear, just jump in.
Right.
So back to the international shipping. What is your reaction when you see people on the groups of like, oh, should I ship internationally? And it's like comparing it the way it is now,
right?
the way it used to be, which I'm remembering the steps. Of course, you package the item and then I guess it would be first class international. That was up to like 4 pounds, I think. And then there was priority international.
I don't remember a whole lot, because after that I was like, I'm making sure I'm not doing international shipping.
Right. Because you
But
have to fill out that form and and then put it in that clear plastic sleeve on the front of the package. And I think you had to take them to the post office. Like it couldn't be picked up. I think you had to
yes,
put it in. And yeah, I did that in the beginning. And then now we've evolved to like all you do is click a box to participate in the eBay international shipping, and that's all you have to do.
right.
They eliminate
Awesome.
any problematic countries. If there's a problem with the item, you just get your money back. It cannot be returned to you.
Exactly.
There's all these safeguards now that for the listeners, there's no reason not to. It's
Exactly.
nothing
Yes.
different on your side except you click a box when you set up your listing and make sure you put the weight in right. And there's like nothing to it, and there's no risk.
Right. Right.
So
I love it.
that's my speech.
I have probably 2 or 3 items I'm going to mention today that went overseas. So
Okay,
yeah,
well, why don't we
I
just
love it.
jump in and talk about those?
Sure. So I had an epic sale yesterday.
An epic sale or an epic fail?
Sale.
Okay,
sale.
that's what we like. This epic sale.
So I sold 3 pairs of socks for $125.
Okay, well, tell us what they were.
So they were Victoria's Secret knee socks, and they were vintage. I had gotten them at an estate sale. And this was a great estate sale, and he ended up being one of my favorite companies to go to now. But this lady had oodles of Victoria's Secret vintage and Fredericks of Hollywood. And so I don't know if she worked at those stores or what the deal was, but I was able to get quite a bit of Victoria's Secret items.
Or maybe she just had cold feet and liked pretty socks.
Well, I don't know.
Were they Victoria's Secret pink or just
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
because
they were.
the pink line where it actually says pink on it was 20 years old in, I think it was 2022. And I expected a big surge in their products that year because they were 20 years old, but I don't know if that happened. But yeah, some of that pink line that actually
there wasn't
pink or has the sequins, or they're real fancy and sparkly. Those are a thing.
Right. There wasn't very many of them on the platform listed.
Did they have like, were they new with tag?
No, they were not. They were actually, I think they had been washed. And so you tell me if this is eBay the right way or not. So I put them in collectibles.
Well, yeah.
So, and I told them these have been washed and they've been pre-shrunk. And so not necessarily to be worn, but I'm selling as a collectible. And that seemed to be fine. Is that how you
that would be the one way to go on that? Yeah.
Okay. I was kind of wondering how you did the granny panties and that kind of thing.
Well, the used clothing policy says everything has to be clean. So I know there's some, what's the best word? Skanky listings out there that are like foot fetish, like that show dirty socks, and that's just a place I'm never going to go.
Right.
And they're on there. I saw one the other day that was for some shoes that were, for foot fetish people, obviously, because they were dirty, and the lady was wearing them and had her, toenails polished up, and
Yes. Yeah. I was researching some of that, and I came across some. It's like, oh my goodness.
I feel like there's enough appropriate items we can sell where we don't have to go down that dark alley of that kind of stuff. The Victoria's Secret line is over 20 years old, so that would be considered vintage. and
Right.
it didn't
Right.
have the price tag on it. I don't know if it had a tag on the inside, and they don't usually have dates on them, so
No.
there's no way to know how old it was. But I think that's
So,
yeah.
from that same sale, I also was able to purchase some fuzzy slippers, and these were like booty slippers that had kind of the crisscross shoestrings with big pom poms on them.
Okay, right.
And there was nothing else like these on the internet. I couldn't find anything like them. I was like, okay, we're gonna start these high, and I started them at $80, and that's what I got full price for them. So, oh yeah, that was a really fun sale.
What brand were they?
Those were Victoria's Secret as well.
Okay, same thing.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yep.
Good for you.
So.
Yeah, it's amazing what slippers, house shoes, whatever you call them, can sell for. I've sold some Uggs for over 75 and Bionic.
Wow.
It all depends on the condition and everything. And as with a lot of clothing items, larger sizes do better because there's just fewer of them. So yeah, people I think, oh, you're going to sell used bedroom slippers? Like I go back to that scene in Seinfeld where Elaine is wearing her nasty bunny slippers. Are you a Seinfeld fan?
I've seen it some, but not a lot.
Well, anyway, in this one episode, she's wearing her nasty, nasty bedroom slippers, and her boyfriend David Putty calls them bacteria traps because they're so gross.
Right.
And people go to that when they're thinking of selling pre-owned bedroom slippers.
You never know what people will buy.
Good for you. That's a great sale. Yeah.
So, yeah. So I had another really fun sale. I had gone to the bins and I found this set of acrylic paints and paintbrushes. And I kind of opened the cap and made sure they weren't used or dried out or whatever, and they were still sealed. So I picked those up, and I'd had them, I guess, listed for, I don't know, at least 6 months, and nothing happened. I was thinking about just taking them off. And a week later, someone made an offer on them. And it was kind of a low offer, I mean, I only had them on there for like $25 or something, and they offered 18. I was like, oh, sure. I'm just ready to get rid of them and move on. So right after they bought them, they sent me a message, and they said that they were the Delta RC Builders Company, which is remote controls for movie sets. And they were going to use my paints for a quarter size model RC, and it was going to be one of their F-15s in the Top Gun movie.
Oh, really?
Coming out. So that was just so fun. It just made my day. So I'm really looking forward to that.
That was how long ago?
It was back in April.
So wait, there's another Top Gun movie coming out?
Yes. Top Gun 3. Yes, it's coming out next year.
Okay, well, they're riding the wave on that Top Gun stuff, aren't they?
They are. Well, fun fact, the original Top Gun movie was the first movie my husband and I saw together. So that just really made my day. It was really special. So.
Oh, okay. What a good memory. So is your husband from a military family also?
No, he's not. He's actually from Michigan. We met up in Bible college in Indiana, and I lived in Michigan with him after we got married for 11 years. So
you're kind of an honorary Michigander.
Yes, all my kids are. They are. So
what part did you live in?
Yep. Like right in the middle, about an hour north of Grand Rapids.
Okay. So you got some cold weather. So you
yes,
like Florida a lot now.
I do. It just got it got to be depressing after 6 months of cold, and I didn't do very well. So,
Well, I will say I've never been to Michigan, and that's on my list. It is beautiful.
it is.
The UP and all the lakes. I know they're famous for blueberries, and which are my favorite. Movie Somewhere in Time was filmed there.
Right.
Mackinac Island or Mackinac Island?
Mackinac.
Mackinac Island. Yeah.
Yes.
One of my favorite movies, and they have conventions there and you dress up. And I just think that's very cool. And no motor vehicles on the island, just horses,
right.
bicycles. And that really is going back in time. I'd love to go visit.
It is. It is.
I guess, you've kind of made the round. At least you could say, yeah, I tried it and it wasn't for me.
Yes. I did love the snow for about 1 month, but then I would like to kiss it goodbye.
I thought you were going to say for like one day. Yeah. Well, good for you.
Anyway, it was fun.
Okay. So you kind of made the rounds everywhere.
Got around a little bit.
Did you move around a lot with your parents being in the military?
No, actually, we stayed here. My parents got out of the military shortly after I was born.
Okay.
So yes, my dad went into civil service, and he still worked on the base. But yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
good.
But my husband's a trucker, so I have been around. I used to go trucking with him, and still may in the future. So,
does he do long hauls, like on for weeks at a time?
Usually just 1 week at a time, but sometimes he has. So we've ventured out west once I went to Canada with him. So yeah, it's been an adventure for sure.
Okay. My brother drives a truck, but he just does local. Well, he was in Atlanta and then he kind of moved north in the foothills of Blue Ridge Mountains. But there's all kinds of trucking. I would not want to drive a semi through downtown Atlanta ever.
I hear you.
Yeah, there's the wide open road out west, and then there's and in the Midwest, and then there's cities, and it's very different.
You are correct,
as you know. So, okay, well, we got off topic there. What else would you like to talk about, since you are uber prepared with your list of things?
Well, let's see. One of the random items that I sold was that fabric that you had highlighted on your YouTube video. It was an upholstery fabric, and you had kindly mentioned that all you fabric people are so smart, and I appreciate that. I think it was, in this case, it was just kind of more instinct, but I will tell you my thinking process. There was, number one, there was a lot of it, so somebody could really, make several pillows or chair covers. Also, it was really just beautiful. I have a passion for interior design and decorating, so I just kind of knew this is really good. And upholstery fabric anyway is super expensive. But also, maybe a tip for the listeners is it had the writing on the edge of the company and the design, which was super helpful too, in looking it up and listing it. So I think it was 6 yards, and I paid $10 for it, and it sold for $82. So that was a really, really good one. It was the Colonial Williamsburg fabric in the Chinese peony pattern, if anybody's interested.
So are you an interior designer? Is that your regular job, or you just kind of do it on the side?
No, I have kind of just played around with it. I have wanted to get into it for years. And I actually was kind of looking at courses and just deciding what I wanted to do. And I found one that I was interested in, but I wanted to save up money to be able to do that without going into debt. And so I was like, eBay's the way to go. It's giving me money right now. So, and so I just really got going on that, and I've just loved it. So,
can you give us any insight into home design aesthetics that are popular? I think everybody knows about like farmhouse and farmhouse chic.
Yeah, that's kind of going away. Right now it's more maximalism.
Oh, really?
But yes, a couple years ago it was minimalist, everything, you know.
Right. I follow a bunch of home interior design pages on Facebook because I just like looking at them. And like this background I have is the kitchen from the Netflix series Bloodline. I just love their kitchen. So I went and found a picture of it and put it on.
That's very cool. I didn't even realize it was
I do Zoom a lot, and I got to change the background. I get bored. I noticed
very nice.
A lot of the color schemes are just neutrals and gray. And like, is that coming to an end? Can we please get past the gray?
That has ended.
And I get that it's neutral, but like baby nurseries are in gray and black. And I
know. It's terrible.
I just can't get on board with, buying a baby gift for somebody and it's gray or black. That just seems so wrong. And gray is just not a happy color.
No, it's not. It's not.
Is it jewel tones? Is it pastels? Like, what's happening there?
It's jewel tones right now. And it's kind of the color of the year. Is it Pantone?
Right.
It's like a grape purple kind of color. It's really pretty. It's a muted grayish purple, but super pretty. But yes, colors are coming back.
Good.
The kitchens to
it seems
everything.
So sterile. All these pictures of just gray and white and neutrals. It looks like a hospital, not a home.
Right. Well, I do like neutrals, but there has to be a right balance of everything, and that's one of the keys to.
And you can put some colors in that pop, like
you definitely need
one color scheme, like a royal blue or a something that pops a little bit. But
exactly.
It feels so depressing to me.
You're right.
Everything is gray. Well, I'm glad to hear that's being phased out. We're going to move on to something else. And that's, I think, for like pickers, that's important information. Like what colors are hot or popular, because there's people that want to follow that style. And it's like, oh, this purple vase or this purple lampshade or whatever it is, it's good to know that, because people are going to go on and look for unique, fun items where they can express themselves. Like, oh, I love this. I've never seen something like this before. And if it's the popular color, even better.
Right. Yeah. That's for sure. I've recently started collecting milk glass and kind of just looking at that, and I'm finding a lot of home interior stuff that I'm like, oh, I don't know whether I want to sell this or keep this.
Right. Yeah, there's that.
But yeah, a lot of my house is purchases from garage sales or estate sales. But I love it. It just makes for a very lived in look. So another one of my favorite estate sales I've been to was a family run estate sale. I'm assuming they did not advertise it anywhere, and all they did was put out one sign at the end of their road. I happened to see it and go to this sale. There wasn't a lot of people there, so I kind of got the pick of everything. And this lady was a collector, let's just say, of many things. And she had a lot of vintage and even some antique things. I asked, what the prices were. Nothing was marked. And she's like, just make a pile. And I was like, okay, great. So I kind of test the waters, and I'm like, well, what does that mean? So I asked her, what is this one item going to cost me? And she's told me just $1 or whatever. So I'm like, okay, it's safe to make a big.
Right.
So, anyway, I found some vintage magazines there, and there was about 40 of them. And it's like, I don't have time to look all of these up, but I'm going to take a chance on them. And she ended up selling them all to me for $3.
Okay.
And so, um, I got home and found out that one of them was a real winner. It was a Saturday Evening Post, April issue from 1950. I don't know what made it so popular, if it was the Alcoholic Anonymous article in there, or if it was the Jackie Robinson picture on the back. But it was very rare. At the time I listed it, there was only one on there. And right now, there's about 3 or 4 listed on there, but for some reason, they don't have the cover of the magazine on their listing. And I don't know why. I don't know if you knew why, but I thought that was interesting.
Maybe it got ripped off and they don't have it. Or was it in another picture?
No, because I looked at all the pictures and they even said the cover's intact, but a little bent. So I'm really curious as to why that is.
What was their gallery picture?
It was the article about the Alcoholics Anonymous.
Okay. So they know something about it.
Yes, apparently so. So anyway, I sold that one magazine for $85 in a matter of minutes.
Oh gosh. And usually they're not worth anything. There's like a zillion of them out there and they're just not.
Right.
It's not right. Be like, it's like National Geographic. There's a couple that have iconic covers. The girl with the very blue eyes and the dark skin and the head wrap thing on. That used to be worth a lot, but I don't think it is anymore. But yeah.
Yes. So I found several others that were worth a good bit. And one I sold for $50. That was a ladies' home journal issue.
Do you know what was special about that?
I don't. It was a 1953. I would have to go back and look at it.
Did you have a whole bunch of those and you just picked out the one that was worth the most?
I looked at comps on every one of them after that one magazine.
I guess so.
I was like, I'm going to research these, and it was definitely worth doing. I sold another Women's Home Companion for $43. And then I sold a lot of 7 of Ladies' Home Journal and McCall's. These are all 1950s. Those I sold for $44. So I really, out of that whole lot, I made almost $300 from just the magazines. So
excellent.
That was really fun. She also had a frog collection like I've never seen. Her whole house was filled with frogs. I felt like I was in a plague of Egypt or something. But I'm not a fan of frogs, but I did end up buying quite a few of them. And I found some of your BOLO book frogs, the ceramic ones with the sponges in their mouths.
Right. Yeah.
So
everybody had on their sink in the 70s and 80s, the frog with his mouth open and you stick the little scrubby thing in there.
Yes. I was so excited. Just like I found one of Suzanne's BOLO items. So that was fun.
And I'm just going to interject this.
Yeah.
It got away from me on a previous episode. Magazines cannot be shipped media mail.
Yes.
And I know you know that. I'm just repeating this.
Sure.
Because they have advertising. So.
Yes, that's one of the things I learned along the way.
Oh, yeah? You did?
Always learning.
Well, I wasn't saying that you were shipping them wrong. That's a point that is often missed because magazines are media.
You are right.
Think, that's fine. But it has to do with the advertising, because if the post office's stance on this is if they allow it, then like everything in the world is going to be shipped media mail, like all these advertising mailings and flyers and all that stuff. And it's just a cheaper class of mail. But it does take the slow boat to China anyway. I usually offer, like, if it qualifies for media mail, I usually offer that and something else, or ground advantage and priority, and let the buyer pick, because just because it can be shipped media mail doesn't mean that's what the buyer wants. And I stopped shipping my BOLO books media mail like the first year they came out, because they took so long to get there, or they got lost. And media mail,
that's not
the stepchild of the post office, and there's no sense of urgency. And I was like, people were like, "Can you ship this media mail?" I was like, "Nope, bad experience. Don't want it to get lost. I know you want to have it in your hands in a couple of days so you can start looking for these things."
Gotcha.
But it is, for the listeners, if you do media mail, you can offer other options. And
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, you can.
So I learned something new.
And offer ground advantage and priority. Don't try to make the decision for your buyer. Like, they're going to want to save money, so I'm going to do it this way, because they might need it immediately. So many things now are being used for wedding decorations and shower decorations. I had a lady buy a bunch of those empty perfume bottles for it was like a 60th birthday for a friend, and that was her favorite scent of the Chanel number 5, yada yada. But all these old things are being used as decorations for parties and stuff. So they might be, last minute Larry, and they're like, "I need this by Thursday. Can you ship it faster?" So just some
absolutely
thought on magazines. That was a lot.
I have looked at several since, and I haven't come across any valuable ones. So I just happened to hit the jackpot on that one.
The older ones, 50s and 60s, I've heard of people taking the pages out and framing the ads and whatever with the hairstyles and the clothing, and it's fun decor for a vintage shop or your house or coffee shop or whatever. There's value in what's inside.
Just the pictures.
They may be, quote, parting it out, and doing different things with it, or what is that craft, decoupage, covering things.
Yes.
And so you don't know. The only way to know is ask them, "Hey, why'd you buy this? What are you going to do with it?"
Right, exactly. Oh, I was tempted to take some of the pictures out. There was just some adorable ads for Tide with the lady in the apron, and just frame it and put it in my laundry room. I was like, that would be so cute. But I shared them. We kind of looked through them with my grandma and my mom, and it took them back, and they just really enjoyed looking through them.
Yeah, it's the nostalgia, the feel good, the rush of endorphins when you see these things that remind you of your youth. Keep the price on that.
Exactly.
Right. What is that cute bag behind you? It says picker, junker. I can't read the rest.
Vintage hunter.
Oh, okay.
So my mother-in-law bought that for me a couple weeks ago and sent it to me, and I was so surprised. But,
so for the listeners, it's just a white tote bag, like a canvas tote bag with a black old-timey pickup truck. I don't know. I'm always looking at the background. That's cute. Does your Goodwill require you to bring your own bag now?
No, they don't.
Well, they might.
Some of them do.
Well, I've been encountering that and talking with other sellers in other states that they're all moving towards that, as, I guess, save money on bags. I don't think it's an environmental thing. I think it's we don't want to buy the bags anymore thing. But
that's
a perfect size. Yeah.
I guess I have had some of them ask if I really want a bag. Like they don't want to give me one. So I'm sure it's probably going that way.
Well, in the Carolinas, they have these like at the checkout, they'll have stands of the reusable bags for like $1. So if you didn't bring yours or you didn't know, you can just buy one. And that happened to me a few weeks ago. And it's a nice, sturdy bag. It's a big one. So
nice. Well, that's good.
Remember from now on, in case I don't have my IKEA bags with me. But yeah, that's
right.
Cutting back and now they're selling you the bag instead of giving you.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's bummer. I don't know if your bins has a bunch of tote bags at the front that you can just grab and put stuff in. My bins does that.
I haven't been to a bins enough to know. I went to a couple out in the Midwest last year, and there's one in Greenville that I haven't been to yet. And then there's a newer one up in Rock Hill that's been open about a year. But it's like 50 miles away. So, but that's a good idea that they give you the bags or let you buy the bags.
Yeah. It's kind of weighed with your other stuff, but
right.
But they do collect whatever comes in. They put it in a big tote at the front. So when you come in, you just grab your trash can. They used to have carts, but now they use trash cans on wheels.
I've seen
And yeah, and I usually go right over, grab a couple tote bags, throw them in there. So I'm ready to start going through my stuff.
So do you like the trash can on wheels concept better than the cart?
It's not as easy when you're going through your stuff, but it does make for better maneuvering in the store with all the people. So
yeah, I was going to say that it's better for traffic flow because these are like elongated, like a kitchen trash can. They're elongated. They have wheels, so they're not long and wide like a shopping cart. And there can be some congested areas in those bins.
For sure. Yes. They don't take up like half bin space.
Right. Yeah. But
some people are trying to block
the YouTube videos and stuff. Like it's hard to bend over and get your stuff out.
It is. It is.
Reevaluate. Do I really want to buy this? Because I do that too before I check out anywhere. I go through it again. Like, okay, was this an impulse or is this really going to make me money? Do I just like it?
Right.
So I wonder if all the bins are going to go to that with the trash can on wheels idea.
I'm really not sure. I was really sad to find out that our bin store is closing this fall. And it's only about 20 minutes away from me. So that's where I get a lot of inventory. But they're opening another one in Foley, Alabama. That's about an hour and a half from me. So it's not terrible, but I won't be going over there as often.
Right. So, have to make that a day trip and work in some other stops.
Yes, yes. So speaking of bins, when we went up to Michigan for a trip to visit my husband's family Thanksgiving, I decided to visit the Grand Haven bins, which is right next to Grand Rapids. And wow, was that different from ours?
Okay.
They were much bigger. They did have regular carts. They had a whole room separate just for clothing, which was crazy to me because we have a very small, it's just a lot smaller. But also the pricing was a lot different. They had everything for 99 cents a pound for housewares, and ours is $1.79 a pound.
Oh,
so it's quite a bit more. They will do books separately. Books are like 50 cents a piece.
Right.
But there was a lot more to find over there. And I also found another one of your BOLOs.
Okay.
I found a boat and tote bag there.
Did. Okay.
So, yes. I haven't sold it yet, but it's on there, and I've got a lot of watchers. So
what does it look like? Is it white with colored straps, or is it a color?
It is orange and green and yellow stripes.
Okay.
So I haven't seen very many of them. I saw one other one like it.
Mm-hmm.
So
So for the listeners, she's talking about the iconic LL Bean. I think it's made of like sailcloth or it's canvas,
definitely canvas.
boat
Yes.
tote bag that those some can sell for like $300.
Yes, they're so heavy duty. I read a little bit about the history that they used to carry ice in
Okay,
in
right.
them up in Maine. So another thing I like to sell is Christmas, and I've done really well with Christmas stockings of all different kinds.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I sold a Nanco M&M stocking for $32.
Okay.
It was a little bitty thing. It wasn't really a full size stocking, but that was a nice sale. And then I sold some of those needlepoint stockings with the velvet on the back, and those
Uh-huh.
do really well.
Mm-hmm. They're
Um,
very heavy duty. And do you ever sell any that have names on them?
I have some that have names on them. I don't have them listed yet,
Mm-hmm.
so I need to get them listed. But
I don't think it
um,
matters though, just, for the listeners, because first of all, if it's needlepoint or cross stitch or something, even those Busilla ones, you can take that off. You can take,
mhm,
but I see so many Christmas displays that have stockings and maybe they don't care if the name's on there. If it's in a little boutique or a store or a store window or something, doesn't matter if the name's on it.
right?
Personalized can go either way. It could be like, oh, nobody's going to want it because
Hmm.
it's not their name, or it could be, oh, that's is somebody's name and they want it, or they don't care that it has a name on it.
Yes, you're exactly right. And I believe the ones I think I have four of them with names, and I think they're all LL Bean,
Right.
and they're really nice, high quality. So,
Yeah, those are very durable and well made. And somebody who's into sewing, they can figure out how to cover up the name or take it off or whatever. If it's,
sure, there's so many options you could
yeah,
do.
it's important to them.
Put some ribbon over it or something, you know.
Yeah, come up with something because
Um,
it could have been, oh, yeah, my dad had this exact stocking and yada, yada, and it got lost in the move or, whatever. And again, the sentimental
right.
value of something.
Yes. Along the same line as the needlepoint with the velvet back, I found two nutcracker pillows.
Mhm.
They were made of the same type of stuff, and the comps for those were really good. So I sold two of those for $78, and
Two together or each $78?
um, I sold both of them together for 78.
Oh,
And
great.
I don't think I would do that again. I think next time I would sell them separately, because the shipping was so high for a box
Right.
that big.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and that's one of the things I've learned. It's just if it's too big, it's they might not want to buy it because of shipping. So,
Yeah,
um,
I just took some listings down that have been out there a year, and they were for those little hotel soaps, vintage, way back in the day. And I bought those at an estate sale. It was like this huge bucket for $20. And I was like, oh, I could make different lots. And I tried it all different ways, but I think they're just too heavy. People don't want to pay the shipping. And
yes,
will probably end up being donated to a women's shelter or something like that that needs soap.
hmm,
But they're very cool looking and from hotels that don't exist anymore. And I thought that would be appealing to somebody because of the vintage value. But I can't even give them
right,
away. I put them on auction for $9, like starting at $9. And um, I think it's just they're so heavy that nobody wants to
yeah,
pay that. So you're right. Yeah. Sometimes you don't realize that till you list the item and watch it sit there for a year or so.
right, right. Um, Also some Pottery Barn velvet stockings. These were a dark purple, and they sold for both of them sold for $50. No, I'm sorry.
Great.
No, I'm sorry. Yes, that was those. And then, have you ever heard of the Charles Craft cross stitch stockings?
Yes, I sure have. Uh-huh.
Okay, those are great BOLO items. They'll sell anywhere from 25 to 50 each stocking. So I found two of those for $1 and sold them each for $50.
So it was the completed, not the kit.
These were brand new and they didn't have anything on them yet. They still had the tags on them.
Oh, okay. So wait, is Charles Craft a needlework brand or
yes,
finished? Okay.
yes. It's the stocking is either green, red, or it has a print, and then the cuff is cross stitch material. So those do super well. I'm always looking for them.
Mhm.
So, and then I went to another estate sale that was kind of similar to the one with the magazines, and they hadn't had it advertised very well. I was the only one there, and they had oodles of Christmas stuff. I guess they decorated their whole house with Christmas, and they had contests in their neighborhood, and to see who would win the prize. I guess it was one of those associations or whatever.
Right, the
So
HOA contest, right?
yes, right. They went all out, and I think they had everything from Dillard's, if you're familiar with that department
Oh,
store.
yeah.
So that was a really fun sale. I got so much Christmas, the Department 56, Santa Clauses, several of those, some cloisonne ornaments,
Uh-huh.
and got a little Christmas tree. I kept that for myself. But oodles of just glass ornaments, beautiful sets like seashells, and that was really fun. It was just a blast.
Don't you just love those sales and you walk in and you're like, ooh, these people like to shop.
Oh, yeah.
They do. They do. I think he said his wife was a lawyer, so she definitely had money. And anyway.
Well, I think it's just
So,
shopping is one of those things that it creates endorphin. It becomes a habit and people just love it. And then it's just the accumulation that follows. And
right.
yeah. And I went to an estate sale once and this lady was into TJ Maxx and the entire basement. And this was a big house. This was like a 6,000 square foot house. The entire basement was just tables and tables of all the stuff still in the box and the package from TJ Maxx.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just the accumulation was mind blowing to me. But yeah, we love finding those estate sales.
Yes, we do.
I saw
So much fun
on Facebook the other day, like one of those reels, and it was this long line of people at an estate sale. And the voiceover was like, if this isn't what happens at my estate sale after I'm gone, then I'm doing it wrong. Like the contest is to have the most stuff at your estate sale.
That is funny. Oh my goodness.
So that goes back to your interior design aesthetic of maximalism.
Oh yes.
I guess people are just getting on board with that.
Yes, they are. That kind of reminded me of another funny estate sale story. I was shopping at one, and all of a sudden, this lady comes in that was another shopper, and she says, "Someone just took the tire off my car." It's
What?
like, who did this? And we're like, I don't know. So we went out and found out the neighbor had removed her tire off her car for parking in front of his driveway.
Oh.
So you have to be careful where you're parking.
Yeah, I'll teach her.
But
Yeah. Oh God.
yeah, so they had to call the police, and
Ugh.
he came and made the neighbor put it back on. He
Oh my.
said, well, technically, both of you could have gotten a ticket. So, but I think
Right.
he
Yeah.
would have let him off. But just a word to the wise.
There you go. Okay. Well, wow, that hour went by fast. Do you have any final words or tips for the listeners?
Yeah, sure, I do. First, I wanted to give just thanks to God and my Savior for guiding me into this journey because it's just been really a blessing being able to do this while I'm homeschooling my kids. And I know you have a lot of homeschoolers on here, but
Well,
it
I think,
works. And
yeah, it goes together and this is so flexible.
yeah,
You don't have to be anywhere at a certain time.
so
You can just work
yes,
around other
right.
things. Yeah.
And then just also you, Suzanne, for teaching me so much.
Oh,
The the courses and the books have been just amazing. So if anybody needs sources, they are out there. So
oh, great.
YouTube is great. Join Facebook groups for any specific niches that you are interested in. You're not going to learn everything in 2 weeks. I mean, just like anything worth doing, it's going to take time, but um, it's great and it's a fun process. I've enjoyed learning. So
Well, and yeah, you're not going to learn it all ever. I spent
no,
a
no,
couple
you're not.
hours yesterday. I had bought these little professor calculators on an online auction, and it said, they work and everything, and I get them, and I couldn't get them to work. And I'm putting new batteries in, and I'm like,
Oh
so
no.
disappointed. I'm like, oh, I've wasted money again on something that doesn't work. Well, no, operator error. I went on YouTube and like you had to push buttons like to set up the problems because it's like a backwards calculator that gives you a problem and you put in the answer. So you had to push like level and go and all these buttons in a certain order. And they did work. I was
Oh well.
just
Well, good.
like I don't think I ever had one of those. Those came along after I was the age to use them. I was like, oh, I can't believe this. These don't work. And I'm like the calculator repair shop, but it was just doing everything in the right order.
Oh, good.
And
So
now I know
glad.
that. I didn't know that before. So you're
Right,
always learning.
right, exactly. I've had to do that too. My kids found a Wally robot at a yard sale, and I had to get batteries for it and learn how to use it.
Right, right.
So, yeah,
Thank goodness
you're
for
right.
YouTube because you can figure out anything. Just go
Mhm.
on YouTube and see if somebody's made a video. And
Yes,
I've never not been able to figure out how to do something by going on YouTube and finding a video. So
yeah,
I'm very thankful for all those people that make the videos on how to
yeah.
fix
Take
this,
the
how does this
time.
work, what part do you need for this, and it's huge. Yeah, how do we live without it?
I know, right? Yes,
Go ask the neighbor.
right, right.
Yeah.
Go to
Okay.
the library.
Well, thank you again for coming on the podcast and sharing all your information. There's been a lot of helpful tips, and we'll watch for your sales on the Facebook group.
Okay, thank you, Suzanne.
Thanks. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
A few follow ups from Becky regarding the LL Bean boat tote. It's listed for $89.97 and only 2 watchers. She was thinking of another item and forgot to mention it, so I'll tell you here. It is a rare Jellycat ginger striped, I guess, cat or tiger. She didn't say what kind of animal. It has 28 watchers and is listed for $175. So, yes, those Jellycat items can do very well. And the color of the year she was thinking of wasn't Pantone, but Benjamin Moore's Cinnamon Slate. It's described as a delicate mix of heathered plum and velvety brown. The color aims to offer a balance of enduring style and modern sensibility, creating a sense of calm and comfort. And I'm so glad that we're moving on to some deeper, richer colors and not so many neutrals. But that's just my personal preference. So you might want to look up that color. Again, it's Benjamin Moore's Cinnamon Slate. And keep your eyes out for home decor items in that color or close to it, since that is now trending. Okay, next week my guest is Mindy. You may have seen some of her sewing pattern sales on the Money Making Mondays thread. She has accumulated a great deal of knowledge about the fine details of selling sewing patterns and craft supplies in general. And you will love all of the detailed information she shares. So that's it for this episode. If you are interested in being a guest, please reach out to me and let's talk. Thanks again for supporting this podcast and make it a profitable and productive week on eBay. Bye, everybody.